We used the remaining darkness to get away as far as possible from the convoy that we had just attacked. You never know what additional enemy assets might be in the area. Then it was time to radio in our success and our very dire torpedo situation. The response that we received was more than just curious. It was a well done, together with instructions to open one of the sealed envelopes with orders that I had received before leaving Wilhelmshaven. Ammo, I need your confirmation and signature that this envelope has not been opened yet. Sign here. Now let's open this and see what's inside. Oh. Okay. Now, this is interesting. We are being ordered to Cadiz. That is a Spanish port, not far away from Gibraltar. We are to meet up with the covert supply ship Thalia. They will transfer fuel and torpedoes to us. It will be dangerous to get this close to Gibraltar, but it is better than to return to port already. Radio man, send out a message. Orders received and acknowledged. We began our journey towards Cadiz, and during the night we had the good fortune of good and clear weather. This allowed us to bring the external torpedo reserves into the boat. This work leaves the boat in a dangerous and very vulnerable position. While the torpedoes are lowered into the boat, the hatches can't be closed, and we are unable to dive. While almost all men on board are toiling hard to complete the task as soon as possible, it befalls to the watch crew to keep us safe during these dangerous hours. If any threat should materialize on the horizon, we can only try to evade it, and if that is not possible, we have no other choice but to fight it straight up, with guns blazing. Everyone on board is exhausted, but glad when the task is finally completed and 2 more torpedoes are loaded into their tubes. Our journey is dangerous enough as it is, and it only continues to get more dangerous as we get closer to Gibraltar. An enemy plane appears in the sky. It sees us, it dives towards us, and it drops bombs. Thankfully, it does miss. We dive the boat to 50 meters and check for damages. We were lucky this time, and the crew breathes a sigh of relief. From now on we are employing the same tactics that we learned when operating off the British coast. As soon as the sun rises, we dive the boat and we stay submerged during the day. After traveling for many days like this, we finally make landfall and the Spanish coastline comes into view. I have timed things well. Cadiz is now only a few hours away. We will arrive there in darkness, so that we can conduct our supply operation unseen by any potential observers. I surface the boat as soon as the sun has set completely, and it is not long before the city of Cadiz itself comes into view. Our orders stipulate that the Spanish authorities will turn a blind eye to this operation, but we have to remain unobserved, so that they can continue to claim ignorance and neutrality. Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of our amazing Silent Hunter 3 campaign with the OneAlex Edition. Today, we are not going to sink anything, we are going to do something completely different. As you know, after the attack on the convoy last time, our torpedo situation is, well, not good. We only have 2 more torpedoes on board and that's it. And we didn't even reach our patrol area yet. So if we want to continue our patrol and attacks on enemy convoys, we need more torpedoes. More fuel wouldn't be a bad thing either. So we are currently entering the Bay of Cadiz. I hope I'm saying that right. There is the town, and there's the adjacent harbor. Somewhere in this area is a German resupply ship. What many people don't know is that Spain, fascist Spain at that time, turned a blind eye to Germany stationing a few ships in some of its harbors, and those ships were used to resupply U-boats. Not very often, but in emergency situations, U-boats could get resupplies from those ships. For those of you who might have watched Das Boot, the movie, there was a scene where they went into a Spanish harbor to resupply. So we are doing something similar. Now our task right now for today will be to find the German resupply ship and to dock with it without being seen by anybody. That's our task for now, because Spain couldn't admit that they were helping out Germany in that way, or well, that they are turning a blind eye to these clandestine operations. That would have been in stark contrast to its policy of neutrality that they had adopted officially. Quite fascinating piece of history. But okay, we're entering the harbor, and somewhere is a German ship. Where though, I don't know. That's what we are going to find out. Let's get a little bit close and then we'll resume this. We are getting close to the entrance to the harbor, which is right in between these two lighthouses. So far, I haven't been able to spot anything that resembles a German supply ship. I can see some Spanish ships, of course, which is not surprising, but no German ships so far. There are a few ships outside of the harbor, so maybe one of those will be the supply ship. I will have to keep an eye out for that. However, the number one rule for this operation is to not be detected.
Schiff gesichtet, Lage 4-1, mittlere Entfernung.
So let's actually bring the boat low into the water.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neue
Let's
Tiefe 7 Meter.
Let's bring the deck below the water, so that only the conning tower sticks out. Let's see if we can manage this. The sea is calm here in the bay, which is excellent. There are a few more ships out there, but those look like tugboats or fishing boats, something like that. Nothing major. Oh, I'm sure the crew on board would love nothing more than to have a night out in the harbor right now. But instead they are getting a whole night full of back-breaking work. In order that the Spanish authorities could maintain their facade of not knowing anything about these operations, the operations had to be completed at night. That means the U-boat had to come in after darkness has fallen, just like we are doing now. They had to meet up with the ship. Supplies, provisions had to be transferred over, and the U-boat had to be out of here by sunrise. These supply ships also sometimes assisted with emergency repairs. And later in the war it did happen that...
Schiff gesichtet, Lage 353, mittlere Entfernung.
Thank you. Later in the war it did happen that U-boats did not manage to complete the operations during nighttime. And so the sun came up and the U-boat was still next to the German supply ship, and well, crowds gathered to look. That wasn't very good for Spain's diplomacy. But still, the British actually had trouble obtaining hard evidence for these operations. They did of course protest, they knew what was going on, they were not stupid. But knowing it and being able to prove it are two different things. Okay, the decks are flooded. Let me show you. This is perfect. Look at this. This is absolutely perfect. Only the conning tower is sticking out of the water. The deck is not visible. And we are just high enough above the waterline that the engines are still getting air. The air intakes for the engines are actually on the conning tower right here. You see that? That on both sides. Those are the air intakes for the diesels. So the boat can be submerged up to this line and the engines can still draw air. Perfect. Right now it would be very, very difficult to spot us. Okay, let's keep a good eye out. That's definitely a Spanish ship here. There is a ship over there, but that is flying a Spanish flag as well. Something over there. Looks to me like a Spanish flag though. I assume that the German ship will have a German flag. And that's how we will be able to recognize it. That's Spanish. You are Spanish as well. So it seems to me like the supply ship is not within the confines of the harbor here. So it must be one of the ships out in the bay. Let's have a good look. Lighthouse. There's a ship all the way out there. Another here. One over there. This here. And one behind it. This one here is definitely Spanish. That one as well. It's impossible to say what nationality the ship in the distance there has, or that one over there. And this here, it's not illuminated. And I'm unsure about the flag. Maybe this is our target. Over there in the far distance is another ship. You can see the lights. By the way, this is a good example of why ships that wanted to avoid detection at night would turn off their lights. These ships are quite far away over there, the illuminated ones, especially that one. And still we can see it. Let's take another good look at the harbor. Nothing. Is that a military ship? Yeah, that thing looks armed. And there's something here, look at that. That's also darkened. I didn't even spot it the first time around. Looks like a warship, but I think it's flying a Spanish flag. There is something... Is that a building or is that another ship? No, I think it's a building actually. It can be tricky sometimes to spot things in the harbor. Against the backdrop of all these cranes and chimneys and warehouses. But yeah, I think our most promising targets are out here in the bay right now. But which one of those will it be? And will we be able to get torpedoes from it? The torpedoes are why I'm here. I mean, I do have enough fuel to continue operations. We are 1/3 down, and the rule of thumb is that you should arrive in your operational area with 2/3 of fuel left. Then you have spent 1/3 for the voyage to the operational area. You will need another third to return home, and you have 1/3 for operations. However, our operational area is still quite far away from us, down here, so we will have to use up more fuel to get there. But we don't have to go all the way back to Wilhelmshaven after this patrol. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but our base of operations has changed. After we complete this patrol, we are not returning to Wilhelmshaven. We are sailing to Lorient in France, and that will be our new base. That's going to be quite nice. Okay, but back to the issues at hand here. Still looking for that ship. Maybe I should look over here. But I don't see any ships out there in that direction in the bay. No, I don't think so. I think there's the coastline. Yeah, that looks like trees. It's quite dark. Okay, this one is Spanish. It is a tanker, but Spanish. That could be it. This could be our target. That could actually be our target here. I'll have to keep an eye out on that one. If that is our target, then I will want to dock on the side of the ship that is facing away from the harbor and facing away from the other ships here in this area. We really don't want to be spotted. Well, alright, let's continue. Quite a nice atmosphere here. And I think we picked a good night to do this. There is no moon. At least not yet. I don't know if it will rise later. But for now there's no moon and we can see the stars. Celestial navigation is something that in theory can be done in Silent Hunter 3. Although why you would want to do that, that's another story, but in theory it is possible. The sky is accurate. The sky is fairly accurate. Wait. Let me see if I can recount some of my knowledge about the stars. Shouldn't one of these stars be the North Star? Oh, I'm really not sure. Let me have a look. We are... North is on our 220 degrees. Yeah. No. No. There? No. Nope. 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 I'm not. I forgot. I have forgotten how to find the damn North Star. That's a shame. Let me know in the comments if you know how to find the North Star by looking at the stars. I recognize this shape and I recognize... What is it? I recognize this shape and... What's that sound? That's the ship here. Its engines are turned on. Let's look this way. I'm fairly sure that's German flag. Let's turn in.
Neuer Kurs 127.
Actually, let's wait a little bit. I don't want to get too close to this ship here. We are going to pass this tanker. Esso. I guess the Spanish merchants are feeling quite lucky that they are not part of this war. Spanish ships are neutral. So what I wanted to say is I recognize this shape and I recognize that shape, and maybe that's the North Star. That's possible. But I am not sure. I should know these things, but I don't. I've forgotten. So let me know in the comments if you know how to do that. It's something that, you know, today when you go outside, if you are living somewhere in an area that is densely populated with big cities around you, then you will know that if you go out at night and you look into the sky, you won't see that many stars. You might think you do, but trust me, you don't. If you ever get the chance, drive out into the countryside, and I really mean like the deep countryside with no cities around. And do it at a night with no moon and no clouds. And then look up. You will be astonished how many stars you can see. You will be utterly astonished. And that's something that's really cool and that you should experience at some point. Also, you can look up if there are any observatoriums near you. So, those places where they have a big, huge telescope that can be used to look at the stars. Usually those places can be visited for a very modest fee or even just a small donation. And it's pretty cool. I visited such a place this summer in Croatia, in Split, and it was quite amazing what you could see through a telescope. And also with the naked eye. I mean, we looked in the sky, there was a little bright moving spot moving across the sky. And what did the guide say? That's the ISS. And you could see that thing just with your own eyes. That little bright spot, you didn't need... You absolutely didn't need to have a huge telescope for that. Just with your naked eye you could see this little bright dot moving across the night sky. And to think that that's the ISS and you can just see it like that, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's a German flag. Okay, we are getting there. I said I will dock with this thing on the side that is facing away from this ship. We are trying to keep this a covert operation. Nobody should spot us. And I think so far we are doing very great. I think we are doing well. This may actually be it. But I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about this. Is that the North Star or not? I will look it up after recording this. I'm definitely going to look that up. More games should have this, you know. If there's a game and there is stuff happening at night, and it is stuff that's not happening in a sci-fi or fantasy universe, but on Earth, then they should make a realistic night sky. Okay, we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Is this thing armed? No, it isn't. It is quite small, isn't it? That's a small ship. Now, once we come alongside that ship, we will have to lift the boat out of the water. Of course. Otherwise, opening the hatches on the deck would be a little bit less than ideal. But no, such an operation would be something that is very difficult for the boat's crew. Working under time pressure, very much under time pressure. Having to resupply the ships, taking on not just torpedoes, but taking fuel on board, taking supplies on board, like food and water, medicine, all kinds of things. Hours of back-breaking work to be completed as soon as possible. Okay, I will have to turn the boat.
Jawohl, Herr gesichtet. Lage 147. Mittlere Entfernung. 5 Grad Steuerbord.
Let's strive to come alongside it. They're turning in now. I hope these guys are all asleep or in the town celebrating something. Because obviously such a supply operation is nothing that's quiet. My thinking is, it's not easy to find documents on all of that. But my thinking is that the Spanish people very much knew what was going on.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Let's try to get closer to the boat. Let's turn a little bit more. Then we are going to turn the other way. So far so good. Closing the distance a bit more. Okay, now this is going to get tricky. Getting as close to this thing as possible, while I can't actually see where my bow is. That's tricky. Okay, let's start a slow turn to the left. Slower. Looking good. Looking good. How late is it? Okay. Half an hour until midnight local time. Okay, looking good. And increase the turn. Decrease the turn. Hold the engines. This is looking good. Blow the tanks. Who the hell told you guys to bring the flag up? Pull that thing down. Okay. Let's reverse. So that we come to a stop. Right next to it. No, I need to reverse a little bit more. Perfect. Perfect docking maneuver. We are next to the ship. The flag is back for some reason. We are next to the ship. And we can begin resupply operations. Just beneath the crane as well. This is perfect. And we are hidden from view towards the harbor. So let's go ahead and see if this works. We are supposed to... let me see. We are supposed to exit the patrol, right? And now we can dock at Italia, but we have to instead hit continue mission, I think. And there we go. Repairs and refueling at U-tanker finished. 3 torpedoes loaded. Okay. So we have a full complement in our forward tubes and 1 torpedo in the rear tube. Excellent. I'll stay here for an hour or 2 to simulate the loading of supplies and everything, and then we'll get out of here. Welcome back. It has been a few hours and we are ready to depart. It's now almost 3 o'clock. The moon has come up. Thankfully it's not a full moon at this time of the year. So we should be good, we shouldn't be too visible. I don't think I will have to submerge the boat anymore. We will just engage the engines. Go ahead this way, then take a left turn and distance ourselves from these ships and then exit out the bay. So let's start that journey. Small speed ahead. Also get me that flag off this ship. There we go. We're heading out. Thank you for the torpedoes, thank you for the fuel and the lubricants and the provisions. And the flag is back. What the hell is that? Okay, go away, flag. No idea why that happens. I have taken the time to load the tubes, so now we really do have a full complement of torpedoes in the forward tubes and one torpedo in the aft tube. I think that is enough ammunition to go out into the world and attack some more English ships before we have to end our patrol. What the... Okay, I have no idea what's going on with the flag, maybe because we are so close to a place where we can dock, the flag gets raised automatically. That could be it. But now we are getting away from here. Okay, we increased our distance to that ship, so let's make a 90-degree left turn. Speed up the boat. We are getting out of here. It is in the middle of the night. I doubt somebody on the other ships is particularly awake and looking our way. And while our engines are not super quiet, we shouldn't cause too much of a disturbance here.
Schiff gesichtet. Lage 173. Große Entfernung.
Now our priority must be to leave this area. By the way, let's see if we can finally pull this flag down. Now our priority has to be to leave this area, to get back out into open waters outside of Spanish territorial waters, because we are not that far away from Gibraltar and the airbase there. I don't want to be spotted by a British airplane in Spanish territorial waters. Not in these shallow coastal waters. That would be bad. So we now have to get out of here as fast as possible. Good news, while we waited, the battery was recharged fully. Okay, now the guys are picking up the binoculars again. I think if I pull this thing down now, they won't bring it back up. Yeah? Yeah, looks like it. Great. Yeah, let me show you. So we are here. Cadiz is right here. There are more supply ships currently at this point in the war in Vigo, the vessel. And that's it, I think. I think later in the war we will have a ship in El Ferrol. Maybe one in Bilbao? No, I'm not sure. Maybe one on Palma de Mallorca? No, I'm not sure about that either. I think, yeah, okay. Here in Las Palmas we have the Corrientes on Gran Canaria. That's also there. Maybe we will receive orders to go resupply in that harbor as well, once we reach our operational area here. We'll see about that. For now, I'm going out into the bay here. Let's actually plot this out. Going into the bay, then I'm exiting the port, trying to get into a little bit deeper waters as soon as possible. And then we'll be sailing west out to sea. I don't want to cross through the Strait of Gibraltar here, that's a little bit close. So we are going this way, and then we'll be coming down towards Madeira, and from there we'll sail towards DH-44, our operational area. That's 2,200 kilometers away from us at the moment. So we still have quite a ways to go. Okay. Now, with that all said, I think we are ending today's episode here, because I doubt anything serious will happen now, and we have talked about the pretty night sky already, and about the resupply operations that the Germans sometimes well, did in these Spanish ports, with the Spanish government turning a blind eye to it. Alright, for now, thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed today's episode, despite us not sinking anything or shooting at anything or really engaging anything. Just having a little nightly cruise, looking at the stars and performing a resupply operation. So, until next time, have some really great days and goodbye.